Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to Literary Bridges Writers on Writing. My name is Aldona Grupas, and I am founder of Aldona Art Club. And today I am delighted to be your host alongside Reverend Dr. David Parry. Today's guest is Marina Strela, screenwriter, producer, and director. Marina is the creator of the short film Between Two Lands. Albion Art Club is proud to be the official cultural partner of this film. Today we'll be talking about screenwriting, the creativity process behind Between Two Lands, and how a story develops from the idea into film. Marina, thank you very much for joining us today. It's wonderful to have you with us. Good morning, Marina.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much, Aldona and David. It's a really pleasure to be here.
Good morning, dear David.
Good morning to you two lovely ladies. It's always an honor being on this show with the legendary Aldona. And Marina, a great pleasure to finally connect with you. I mean, I'm looking forward to our discussion. I'm sure we've all got a lot to say to each other.
Oh, yes, of course, as usual with David. Okay, my first question, Marina, to you. Marina, every screenplay begins with an idea, and I know you had this idea. What inspired you to write Between Two Lands?
Between Two Lands was born from a very special place, I would say. Like many people, I have lived and still living abroad. I became interested in invisible space between where we come from and where we build our lives. I realized that many people carry two homes in their hearts, and that experience is often filled with love, nostalgia, hope, and difficult choices. I wanted to tell a story that honors those emotions. The film is inspired by real experiences. It speaks about something much bigger, like universal search of identity, belonging, and human choices.
Okay, thank you. David, would you like to ask something, Marina?
Oh, gosh, it's always hard to know where to begin with raw creatives. I mean, I'm a native Brit, whatever that means. I mean, if you look at the endless migrations that have happened in Britain century after century, I don't know what that means. I mean, certainly it means I've got a bit of Irish in me, I've got some Welsh in me, I've got some Italian, I've got some German. So, belonging is something that interests me that I've never tackled. So your project interests me very, very much indeed, because it's one of those questions I've asked myself for years. Where do you belong, David? Where do you belong? And it's not always clear. Even if you're a native of somewhere, it's not always clear. Marina, let me start with, I was toying with this the other day. What specific themes are they? Geography? Are they psychology? What specific themes interest you as a writer?
Oh, okay. I don't usually call, first of all, myself as a writer. I'm producer and filmmaker, but ideas come to me kind of naturally, and sometimes it's simply easier to write them myself than to wait for someone else to understand the story I want to tell. I'm especially drawn, I would say, to psychological thrillers because I'm fascinated by human nature and the way our minds work. interestingly, even between two lands, isn't it, Lyra? I realized that all stories I so far have written, like short films, have a strong psychological layer, and in many ways it's a philosophical one. So I'm interested in stories about identity, belonging, memory, and the emotional choices people makes. I don't know. I'm often asking myself questions rather than giving answers. Let's say, what makes us who we are? What is a home? How do our past experiences shape our future? And, what kind of people we become based on our past experiences.
Okay,
I think you're exploring some very interesting issues. Aldona, I think you've got another question there.
Yes, I would like to ask Marina, what's the biggest difference between writing a screenplay and writing in other forms?
Yeah, I mentioned before, that I'm not a writer.
Yeah.
But I would say a screenplay is a story through the images, not the explanations. And unlike a novel, then you can describe thoughts, feelings directly. A screenplay, those emotions kind of requires to be expressed through action, dialogue, and visual storytelling. Kind of every scene has to move a story forward while revealing something new, or just something about the characters. It's very disciplined at the same time form of writing, but I also love this because it leaves room for collaboration with actors, with directors, cinematographers, and even composers. So a screenplay is the beginning of a creative journey rather than the finished work itself.
I see, yes. As I involved in this project, I see how much work you did with this screenplay and with this film. David, would you like to ask something else?
Well, I think you're being too modest. I mean, modern scholars talk about meta text. So people write with images, people write with their experiences. I think it's unwise in this day and age to think a writer is simply or merely using words. I mean, many people focus on that. But, the minute it becomes film or theatre, you continue writing, but in a much broader and bigger way. So I think you're being far too humble, Marina. I think you're being far too humble, which is, I suppose, I was thinking of questions. I mean, film is one of those things I tend to assiduously avoid because everybody's got an opinion and everybody's right and everybody else is wrong. So, I get enough of that in philosophy. So I'm trying to keep clear of all of that in other parts of my life. But learning a bit about you, this is something I did want to ask you. When you're creating characters, does it give you pleasure, to create a person in a world? Or do you find it very, very hard and, angst ridden, because it's a reflection of you or it's something you'd never be? I'm thinking there of my first collection of poetry, Caliban's Redemption, which, if you're not reading it carefully, lots of people haven't read it carefully and they think that's David. It's not me, or I'd say it was my reflections. So, and he says some things I'd never dream of saying. So I wondered if that's the same with you. What goes into your characterizations? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Or is it all these things in a magical world of your own creation?
Yeah, creating characters is one of my favorite parts of writing, but it also requires honestly and patience. For me, characters don't begin as a fictional people. They are often begin with emotions, memories, or people I have met throughout my life. Yeah, I spend a lot of time asking myself simple questions. What does the person fear? What do they long for? What they are trying to hide? Once I understand those emotions, the character starts speak to me naturally. I never try to make my character perfect. As we know, no perfect people in the world.
Apart from Aldona,
I thought apart from
Thank you.
me, but
apart from you as well, Marina.
thank you. So they imperfections make them believable, and that's what allows audience to connect with them.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I mean, do you ever, sorry, Aldona, do you ever
Yeah, no.
revisit a character? You know, you've got someone very clear in your mind, a boy or a girl, it's very clear in your mind. And then you start working with them and you think, oh my God, no, that's not them. That's not what they say. That's not what they do. Does that ever happen to you?
Not that way. Not recently, a year ago or 2 years ago, I started to, no, actually before even pandemic, I started to write a series, actually started to write a feature film about psychological thriller about serial killer.
Oh.
And and then someone said, with nowadays all equality, all rights, you need to change something. So I tried then to bring or make those characters who was, let's say, straight, to make them gay or lesbian, or if they were white, to create them Asian or black. Then someone mentioned that series will be more interesting, so I started to make out of feature film series, and I lost myself.
Yeah.
and then I left it for, I don't know, maybe 5 years and one day everything came to my head. I sat and I probably in a week time, maybe a bit more, because I had everything written. I just needed to place everything in places. In a week or 2 weeks, I did, I think, 6 or 8 episodes.
Wow.
So yes, sometimes we're revisiting, but sometimes is as well for different reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
That's an amazing journey. That's an
Yeah,
amazing journey. Aldona.
Thank you, Marina. It's really interesting journey. Yeah, and I'm thinking now probably I need to take lessons from you. It's really interesting. And my last question, Marina, what advice would you give to people who dream of becoming screenwriters? I'm not dreaming about it, but actually it will be interesting to learn.
Mm. First advice, probably write, and don't wait for the perfect idea or perfect moment. Read the script, read scripts, watch films, observe people, and keep writing. Even if you think people, even if you don't write the story you think people want to hear, write the story that you want to tell, or you can to tell, because authenticity, that's the word, will always be powerful more than imitation. Yeah.
I've got to say to Marina, don't worry about semantic discrepancies. I mean, you're a lovely person. You're a talented lady. Don't worry about minutiae. That's nothing. And it's a true pleasure to be speaking with you today. And your work is interesting and it sounds strong to me, which is why I've got to ask, I suppose, a question that's sort of a personal interest. I mean, my work tends to be utilizing the surreal. It utilizes the existential. I don't think they're antonyms. I don't think they're opposites at all. I mean, one of my influences certainly, since I have a lot of work with the Norwegians, I have a lot of work with the Scandinavians, is the way the Scandinavian, the Nordic imagination uses this sort of interplay between dream and psychology and, dare I say, the paranormal against the existential, the real, the suffering, and the tension that holds all these things together. It's all part of our lives, something the Anglo-American view tends to forget. These aren't separate divisions in our lives, they're all parts of our lives. So I'm asking you as a fellow creative, do dreams, fears, the marvelous, that's part of our life too, the marvelous or the surreal help you construct the worlds, the storylines that you want to explore? Is that something that resonates with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Even, when my stories are realistic, dreams, fears, and imagination shape the emotional world of characters. People don't experience life only through facts.
Yeah.
We experience it through memories, hopes, anxieties, imagination. Those invisible emotions influence every decision we make. I don't often use surreal elements in a literal sense, but I do like creating moments where reality feels poetic.
Yeah.
Where silence, symbols, or nature express emotions that words can do. Sometimes those moments reveal more about characters than dialogue or even dialogue even could. Yeah.
I'll tell you why I asked that. I've got a chum, Sir Alan Ayckbourn, who is very, very well known for what looks on the outside like psychology, and it looks like history, and it looks like commentary. And again, it's only if you step back that you think, oh my God, all this other stuff is going on as well. And he tends to hide it and disguise it. But he's such an honest creative, he won't abandon it. I mean, one of the things, you can shut me up when you need to, Aldona. One of the things I'm working on at the moment academically is Ibsen, Henrik Ibsen, who, of course, has this incredible reputation of realism. The only thing I'm going to put on the stage is real, until you look at the text. It's full of trolls, it's full of giants. And he's not saying they're there, but he's not saying they're not there. And you sound to me like you're doing something similar, which is the sort of work that always interests me. Human beings are caught between these gigantic forces we can't control, we can't deal with, but that's part of our lives anyway. And when someone like you comes along, making stories, making films, making visuals about that worldview, I personally find that incredibly exciting. And look forward to learning more about your career and look forward to seeing this film. Aldona, what do you think?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, David. Really, as I said, the Albion Art Club and myself involved in this project. It's really interesting because I write life stories as well, and it's yeah, and between two lands, actually, it's very close to my heart because I live in the UK, and my mind very often about Lithuania. Yeah. Yes, anyway, thank you very much, Marina. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and your creative process with us. We wish you every success with Between Two Lands, and we look forward to seeing the finished film. And yeah, and thank you to everyone who joined us today. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of Literary Bridges, Writers on Writing. And thank you so much, David. Thanks a lot for you join this meeting with us. Thank you for questions. And goodbye, and we hope to see you again soon.
Bye-bye.